U.S. Defense Ministry refuses to comment on crash involving Ukrainian F-16. Kremlin forms territorial defense units to support liberation of Kursk region, and drone attack on airport near Kaluga. The latest news next. The United States did not assist in investigating the incident involving the F-16 aircraft in Ukraine and does not comment on the exact number of these aircraft present on Ukrainian territory, according to Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh. Singh addressed the situation regarding the crash of an American F-16 fighter jet in Ukraine, which resulted in the death of the pilot. According to her, the U.S. has not received any request from Ukraine for assistance in investigating the incident. I have seen the reports, but I do not have information on any assistance provided from our side or any request for it from Ukraine, Singh said. When asked about the number of F-16s that are currently in Ukraine or are planned for delivery, Singh declined to answer, citing operational security concerns. I won't go into details about the number of F-16s in Ukraine. That's a matter for the Ukrainian side, she added. Singh emphasized that combat aviation is extremely complex and the US is proud to have been able to train Ukrainian pilots both in the United States and with the help of allies. Every day, these brave men and women take to the skies to defend their country, she said. Regarding the F-16 incident, Singh stressed that this is exclusively a matter for the Ukrainian side to comment on, and the Pentagon does not confirm any information about the causes of the crash. The Deputy Press Secretary also emphasized that the United States does not comment on the details of the incident or any potential electronic equipment on board the aircraft, urging that inquiries be directed to Ukraine for further comments. Backstory: on Monday, August 26, the Russian Federation carried out its largest attack on Ukraine in 2.5 years. The Russians launched 127 missiles and 109 kamikaze drones across our country's territory. Subsequently, reports emerged that Ukraine had lost an F-16 fighter jet during the attack. The crash resulted in the death of experienced pilot Alexei Mask, call sign Moonfish. These details were later confirmed by the General Staff, which also announced an investigation into the causes of the crash. The city of Sumy was hit by an airstrike from Russian forces during the night of August 30. As a result of the enemy attack, a fire broke out and air pollution is being recorded. Along with reports of casualties, reported the Sumy Regional Military Administration (RMA) and the head of the Sumy City Military Administration (CMA), Alexei Drozdenko. Tonight, the enemy carried out an airstrike on the civilian infrastructure of Sumy, resulting in a fire, the RMA reported. The administration also noted that this has led to air pollution in certain neighborhoods of the city. Therefore, residents are requested to tightly close windows and doors and, if possible, stay indoors until the effects of the enemy attack are fully resolved, the RMA statement reads. Drozdenko clarified that residents of the Vorotenivka, Anivka and Kopak districts are advised not to open windows due to potential smoke. The RMA also informed that preliminarily there are casualties as a result of the enemy strike. Emergency and rescue services are working on mitigating the effects and details regarding the aftermath are being clarified. As reported by the head of the CMA, the Russian airstrike targeted the northern part of the city of Sumy. Shelling of Sumy and the region. It should be noted that the Sumy region faces daily attacks from enemy forces and shelling has been ongoing since the beginning of the large-scale military aggression by Russia against Ukraine. The border regions of the oblast suffer the most from these attacks, but the city of Sumy also faces strikes, including those involving drones, rockets and enemy aviation. For instance, on August 24th, the Russian army carried out an aerial and rocket strike on Sumy, resulting in 1 death and 7 injuries. Russian troops are currently conducting two tactical operations as part of an offensive to capture Pokrovsk and are attempting to encircle Ukrainian positions between Myrnograd and Rodivka, Donetsk region, reported by Institute for the Study of War. About details, the first tactical operation is along the Novohorodivka line east of Pokrovsk, with the objective of capturing Myrnograd and advancing to the outskirts of Pokrovsk. The second tactical operation is taking place along the Ukrainsk-Gyrnik line southeast of Pokrovsk. It aims to expand the Russian group of forces on the Pokrovsk front and eliminate vulnerabilities for counterattacks by Ukrainian forces. The Russian military command probably sees both of these tactical operations as desirable preconditions for launching a fierce offensive on the town of Pokrovsk itself. General Alexander Syrsky, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, stated on 29th of August that the most intense fighting on the Pokrovsk front was taking place on the eastern outskirts of Rodivka, east of Pokrovsk, southwest of Rodivka near Krasny Yar, within Novohorodivka, southeast of Pokrovsk, and directly east of Selidova near Mikhailivka, southeast of Pokrovsk. In recent days, ISW has observed Russian advances in these areas. Recently, Russian troops surrounded Ukrainian positions southeast of Pokrovsk along the Karlivka Reservoir and forced Ukrainian forces to retreat from their positions in the area. They likely hope to achieve a similar effect by attempting to encircle Ukrainian positions between Myrnograd and Rodivka. However, it remains unclear whether Russian forces will be able to maintain a relatively rapid pace of advance through the relatively large city of Myrnograd and its outskirts. Russia is establishing new volunteer territorial defense units in response to the Ukrainian armed forces incursion into the Kursk region, according to the American Institute for the Study of War. Analysts believe that the formation of these units indicates Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's reluctance to counter the invasion more seriously through mobilization due to the risk of public discontent or a large-scale troop redeployment that could disrupt Russia's offensive operations in eastern Ukraine. Tasks of a volunteer unit. On August 29th, the acting governor of the Kursk region, Alexei Smirnov, announced the formation of the volunteer unit BARS Kursk. BARS stands for Combat Reserve of the Russian Army. Smirnov stated that the primary mission of the unit would be to ensure security in the region during the invasion and to settle border towns in the area in the future. Smirnov noted that the unit will cooperate with Russian military forces and the counter-terrorism operation headquarters overseeing current Russian activities in the Kursk region and will also provide humanitarian support to residents of border towns. According to the governor, volunteers will sign 6-month contracts, undergo training, and receive any necessary weapons to fulfill their duties. Kursk region authorities announced recruitment for the unit on August 24. BARS in Bryansk and Belgrade. Colonel Vitaly Sarantsev, Ukrainian Kharkiv Group of Forces spokesperson, reported that the Russian authorities are also forming BARS Bryansk and BARS Belgrade units to support the northern group of Russian troops. Sarantsev estimated that the three units will collectively comprise 4,921 volunteers. The formation of these new BARS Russian Army Combat Reserve volunteer detachments is consistent with the Kremlin's apparent strategy to avoid redeploying experienced or combat-effective units engaged in fighting in the Pokrovsk or Toretsk directions to the Kursk region due to concerns about slowing the tempo of Russian offensive operations in these higher priority directions, analysts from the Institute for the Study of War noted. Volunteers are a significant resource. The report also suggests that the Kremlin is heavily relying on conscripts and irregular forces redeployed from less priority areas in Ukraine to defend against the Ukrainian armed forces incursion into the Kursk region. The ISW noted that Putin expressed a desire to continue relying on Russian volunteers Dobrobat to counter the Ukrainian invasion during a meeting on August 12 with Russian military, security and civilian officials. The dictator hinted at the willingness to sign contracts for military service among prospective volunteers. The report highlights that Putin has consistently relied on volunteer and irregular formations to alleviate the shortage of manpower during the war. He has also avoided declaring general mobilization or another round of partial mobilization, which would be highly unpopular among the Russian public. Unpopular mobilization. Analysts at the Institute for the Study of War suggest that Putin is almost certainly extremely reluctant to declare a general mobilization. Putin almost certainly remains extremely averse to declaring general mobilization and will likely continue to rely on irregular formations to address the ongoing Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk region until Russian offensive operations culminate in eastern Ukraine, at which point Putin may consider redeploying more combat-effective Russian forces from these directions to push Ukrainian units back across the border, the ISW report states. Air defense systems were activated in several regions of Russia and the temporarily occupied Crimea on the night of August 30 due to a drone attack. Reports suggest that the Kaluga airport was among the targets, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, Kaluga Governor Vladislav Shapsha, and Russian Telegram channels. In a morning statement, the Defense Ministry of the aggressor country claimed that 18 aircraft-type drones were allegedly destroyed overnight by air defense systems. As usual, the Russian side blames Ukraine for this aerial assault. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the following drones were allegedly neutralized: 11 drones in the Bryansk region, 4 drones in the Kaluga region, 2 UAVs in occupied Crimea, 1 drone in the Belgorod region. Kaluga's governor said that 4 UAVs were destroyed by air defense forces on the outskirts of Kaluga this morning. Operational teams are working at the destruction sites, added the Russian official. Meanwhile, the Telegram channel Mesh released footage showing a drone being shot down in the Kaluga region. Russian media reports that 2 drones were downed near Kaluga International Airport, while 2 others were intercepted in the region. It is noted that the drone strike caused some damage. Preliminary reports indicate no casualties, but there is damage. According to open-source data, a unit of Ka-26 helicopters from Gazprom Avia is based near Kaluga International Airport, Grabtsevo. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.